So in this drawing, we're going to be creating a bearing. And some of the things that I need to notice just right offhand before I start creating this, I know that it's going to be metric. So when I use AutoCAD, it's going to be quite large at first, and then things will adjust to that size. And I'm just kind of thinking about what I'm going to use in my head to create this. So what I'm looking at is this shaded area. Looks like a rectangle that I can start with. This is a tangent, and I can go with a circle. So that's some of the first things I look at before I even start creating the drawing. So here in AutoCAD, there is no metric button or things of that nature, only if you're going to create a drawing using architectural. So the first thing I'm going to do is start off by creating a rectangle. So I'll use the rectangle command. Click my first point. And if you remember back to the drawing, the first two dimensions of that rectangle, the X component was 144, followed by comma, and then the height of this will be 12. I'll double click the middle mouse wheel button to zoom the extent, or you can select this button here. And I'm just going to scroll out with the middle mouse wheel. Okay, so some of the benefits of creating this with a rectangle command and disadvantages depending on how you see it is that all of these lines are together. So I'm going to be adjusting these lines and trimming them. So it's best for me to go ahead and explode it. So I'll go ahead and select the rectangle, and then I'll use the explode command. And what you will see that each one of these lines should now be individuals. Next, let's go ahead and create that circle that's located here. So I'll start with a circle, center diameter. And you'll notice that I want to track from this midpoint here, but the midpoint is not highlighting. So I'll come right down here, and I'll click the fly up next to it, and I'll make sure there's a check next to midpoint. Then I'll click in the screen. Now I'm going to touch this midpoint, and then trying not to go over any other O-snaps, I'm just going to the outside of this, and now you're going to see that I'm tracking off of it, going up. Just going to type in the number 38. You hit the enter button, and then you'll type in the diameter, which is going to be 60. Let's do that again. So let's go to circle, center diameter. And this time I'm just going to touch the circle, and then I'll click on the center of this circle, and this has a diameter of 36. Next, I'll go ahead and create the line that goes from the tangent. So let's draw a line. And I'm just going L enter. It's just as easy as just clicking on this icon. I'll click this endpoint, hold down the shift button and right click, let go of the shift button, and then you're going to select the word tangent. Then I'll click the tangency of that circle, the escape button, and let's go ahead and do that again. So let's go to line from this endpoint, so click on that endpoint, and instead of shifting and right clicking, you can always type in the first three letters of the O-snap that you want to use, and in this case it's going to be tan. You would hit enter. I'll click that tangent, and then go to the escape button. Okay, so we have a couple other things that's going on here. You'll see that we do have a fillet that's coming kind of right off of here, and it has a radius of 18. So the first thing I need to do is go ahead and trim this line here. So I'll use the trim command. And then I want to trim off this portion. And now I'm going to use the fillet command. I'll set my radius 18, and now I'll click this line and this part of this circle. Now I want to do that again. I could have used the multiple option that is inside of the fillet command, but I'm just going to hit the enter button, and that's going to take me back to the last command, and you will see that AutoCAD remembers the last radius that I've used. So I can click this line and here. Okay, so now that's the front half of what I need to create this. Let's go ahead and create the top view off of this. So I want to use some construction lines. And I'm going to use vertical ones, just so I can keep everything in line. So I'll go ahead and click this endpoint and this one. And now I want to click the quadrants of my circle here. So what I'm going to do is I'll turn the quadrants on by selecting the fly up. And then I'll go and find quadrant. And that's going to allow me to click the quadrant here and here. And I'm also going to use these tangent points. So right where it endpoints here and here, I'll go ahead and create and save those parts. There are a couple of circles that are running through here, but I'll locate those on the top view. So next I'm going to draw a line, and I'm just typing in L again, enter, or you can select the icon here. I'm just going to draw a line going straight across, and you can see that my line is fluctuating. You can hit the F8 button or the ortho mode, or you can select this icon. And I'm just going to make sure that line is just past these two outside lines. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is go ahead and use offset. I'm going to set my distance, which is going to be 42. Enter. And I'll select this back line and click it forward. I'll go back to offset, so I hit the escape button after I use offset. So let's go back to offset. Let's type in 9, enter. Select this back line again, and I want it to go forward here. And then I'll hit the escape button again. And then one more offset. Distance will be 60. And I'm going to use the same back line. And I'm going to offset this line forward. And escape. So if these lines are too close for your liking, you can always use the move command. And you can select these lines here. Click a base point, and then I can move these up or down. So depending on how far you want that distance between here. And you can see I have it at a comfortable distance. So hopefully when I get to doing dimensions on that portion of this drawing, is that if I need to increase that space, I can do it then. Alright, so next let's go ahead and use a shortcut command. We can go ahead and trim off all of these lines, but the EX trim command seems to work a lot faster for what we need. So I'll use EX trim. And remember, that does not have an icon. You have to go ahead and type that one in. I'll select this back line. Then I'll click anywhere above it. I'm just going to hit the enter button. I'll select this bottom line. Click anywhere below it. Hit the enter button again. I'm going to select this line. Click to the left. Enter one more time. I'll select this line. And then click to the right. Okay, so next I'll just use the trim command. So let's go to trim. And remember I said I was going to keep those lines that I used to go across. And that's going to be right in between here. Let's go ahead and hit the escape button on that one. And next I'm going to go ahead and delete these two lines. So I'll select these two lines. And you can hit the erase button or the delete button on your keyboard. Next I'm going to go ahead and trim this portion out. So let's go to trim. And then I'm just going to trim off this line and here and do the same on the other side. And then I'll trim off the line in between. Okay, now we have enough to locate our circles here in the front. Let's go ahead and use the offset command again. Let's type in our distance, which is going to be 16. Offset from here going up. And next I'm going to go ahead and create a vertical line that's going right through the middle here. So I'll use the construction line, vertical, select here. And I'm going to refer back to the drawing a little bit, and I can see that that distance, it tells me to the center of each one of those circles is going to be 108. So that math is simple enough that we can do in our head, but we can use a calculator. And 108 divided by 2 should give me 54. So let's go ahead and put that back into AutoCAD so we can locate our centers. So I'm just going to use the offset command. Type in 54 as my distance. Select this line and click to the right. The diameter of that circle is going to be 12. So I'll go ahead and use the circle center diameter. And you can see that I want to be right here at this endpoint, or intersection, I'm sorry. So one of my O-snaps that I can use and turn on is going to be called intersection. And it is turned on. Let's come back. And now I got that little X in that location, so I was just verifying that it's on. Go ahead and click there, and then type in the diameter. Now these are symmetrical, which means that they're in the exact same location on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these lines. And then I'm just going to use the mirror command and mirror this to the other side. So I'll go to mirror, select the circle, and you would hit enter. And then I'm just going to use these two midpoints, and then enter. Okay, now I have my two circles located. I have my lines that are going across. Let's go ahead and delete this. And also what I want to do is I want to delete these lines here going through here. I just noticed those. So I'm just going to trim off these portions. Okay, so one of the other things I do notice is that I can go ahead and put the hidden lines in here, and then whenever I go to use my title block, I can go ahead and convert them to the right thing. But at this point, it's probably okay if I didn't want to include the hidden lines, especially for this part down here. So I'll save that whenever I put the title block in, mainly because that will have the center lines and hidden lines and all of those layers that I need to create this one. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this one. This is just kind of a quick one. And you can create the right side view if you want to, but I think we have everything that we're going to need to dimension and fully dimension this drawing. Okay, so the next video that I'm going to do on this one will be putting it on the title block, setting up the dimensions and things of that nature. So I want to thank you for watching this one.